That clip doesn't capture how scary that was, how close to death we were. But here we are setting it up again. I'm on the front. I am really in the red. I'm going over 400 watts. My MPA is falling. I'm really tired. Really hard to come around Alvin there. Then boom, I'm looking down. I'm not looking at this back wheel. I look up, boom, right there. The car is right there. Before any of us can react, the car was right on us. Talked to Raul afterwards. He was in the hurt locker. He wasn't looking up. James on the right didn't see it until the very last second. It just shows you the danger. This is the xert profile of the ride. So you can see that there was some harder stuff near the end where my MPA, maximum power available, xert metric, it fell. But man, it just shows you how careful you have to be. You know, we're in the lane, we have the green light. You'd think would be okay, but gosh, some idiot in front of you can misjudge what the cyclists are doing and get right in front of you, turn right in front of you. A number of terrible things could have happened. One, we could have been hit. We could have crashed into the side of the car. Or if we had noticed it sooner, we could have slammed on the brakes and there had been a huge pileup of all the cyclists in the group together. We were traveling 28 miles per hour right there, and not only 28 miles an hour, we were tired. We've been going fast for a while. And so guys, when they're tired, are not going to be as sharp. And you're never expecting to stop going 28 miles per hour through a green light. So that was maybe the scariest moment I've ever been on the pop ride, and maybe any ride. It was, the GoPro does not capture how scary it was because you have that wide angle on the GoPro. It makes everything appear to be further away. When I looked up, I was in the intersection. You know, I was staring at Raul's back wheel. When I looked up, I was in the intersection and the car was just right there. And you hear me yell right as I'm, reacting. And, oh, it's so close. What an idiot driver. And we need to be more careful. But gosh, it happened so fast that the car was turning that we'd have had to have slammed on the brakes, and that would have probably caused the crash too. I mean, I don't think I can see a license plate on the video. I was running at 1080p. Unfortunately, I wish I'd been running at 4K. I just got the new housing for my GoPro session. My previous housing had broken. That's why the last video didn't have a front view. Not super thrilled with this housing. GoPro is no longer making the session housing, which sucks because they're no longer making the session. But I got an aftermarket one that's metal and it's heavy. It doesn't quite fit properly or stay properly. I had to jimmy rig it with some tape. But anyway, got video. So I guess that was the almost crash. And I'm gonna have to think about that one. It's sort of, it reminds me of who was it? Teddy Roosevelt, who said, "There's nothing more exciting like rushing into battle, having bullets whiz by you, and being unaffected or unscathed." Reminded me of that quote. Of course, I butchered the quote. But what it reminded me of is the moment of death comes by so quickly that you can't even process it emotionally. It's just there and it's gone. And so you're never afraid because you didn't have a moment to be afraid. And then you're thinking afterwards, boy, I should be afraid, or I should have been afraid, or that was close. And by then it's time to, keep going. The ride must go on. We're not going to sit around and stop on the side of the road and have a powwow about it. But maybe through social media and YouTube and videos like this, we can discuss safety and being aware, alert, defensive, and knowing that there's drivers out there who drive dangerously. If you had been in a car and you're already in the intersection going full speed and you're just a few feet away from the car turning left in front of you, you would not be happy. We were not happy. But we all survived. The safety record for this ride has been very good. in the years now that I've been doing this ride. Despite being a fast ride through a urban trafficked area, despite being a ride where it's race-like, it's not really a race ride. It's a fast ride in which there is more movement up and down as far as positioning, but it doesn't go at like a race ride, say like the wattage ride, where there's tactics, there's race tactics. There are no race tactics on this ride. It is just a fast ride that is not controlled. And when I say not controlled, it means that you're not supposed to just never pass anyone or just be too abreast or only do rotations. It's not like that. So the track record, the safety record has been great. On the Pop A, Pop B, maybe, well, probably about the same as Pop A, but or maybe a little bit more, maybe a few more crashes on Pop B. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I'd say there'd be maybe like 3 crashes in 2.5 years, maybe a little more than that. 5 crashes. Some of those very minor. A couple of them. Let's see. Last year we had one in which one of my teammates broke a collarbone, and that was a chain that came off in a turn, and a guy moved out of his line when his chain came off and ended up taking out some guys. Not to pick on anyone, but I want to say like most of these crashes have involved 2 riders being the primary cause. So uh, goes to show you pick your wheels and you know who's safe and who's dangerous, and you know people that maintain their bikes and people that don't maintain their bikes and that kind of thing. So the number one priority on all these group rides is safety, riding safely, not crossing wheels, not moving suddenly, watching out for cars, pointing out obstacles, all those kinds of things. That's the number one priority. So we can segue from there. I'm not going to talk for the whole video. That would take too freaking long. I don't have the time tonight to do that, nor the interest, nor perhaps do you have an interest. But here we are on Jupiter, headed north, and we're going to take a right soon on to Park Place. And Park Place is a go zone, meaning we usually go fast there. We almost always go fast. And, well, what else happened on this ride? We had a fast beginning of the ride because of a strange west wind. Usually we do not have a west wind. And so it was kind of fun to go fast there at the beginning of the ride. Usually we don't. The wind by this point had changed somewhat, so we didn't quite have the same west wind. Otherwise, I thought we could be challenging for KOM segments here on the right turn in Park Place that's coming up, as well as Parker Road, which is notorious for its crosswinds because usually we have a north-south wind on Parker. Or actually, I mean, in the Dallas area, we usually have north and south winds. It's much less frequent for us to have east or west winds. So usually we'll have crosswinds from either the north or the south on Parker, and that is a place where if you're a weaker rider or just not quite up to the same fitness level as some of the others, you have a big potential to be dropped in that section with the echelon and getting gapped and so forth. So that was a fun bit, and it's right after Parker when we turn right onto Murphy, and it's on Murphy that we have the close call. And of course, later on after Murphy, we have Renner Road. We take a right on Renner, and that's always a good, nice, hard effort on Renner Road, where, again, if you're not quite up to the same fitness level and experience, it's a place where you could get dropped. And that's part of the fun of this ride, is that maybe some of you watching this are persons that don't think you quite have the fitness or experience for this ride, but you'd like to. Of course, I used to be in that category. That's a place where you kind of like, you can make it to there, but if you don't quite have the fitness, you might get dropped there because it gets harder and harder and harder. And of course, potentially you're more tired at that point because the ride's been going on longer. Yeah, we're not even to the right turn. I'm sorry that, if I had the time, I'd make like a highlight video. Yes, is that kind of an oxymoron? Highlight video of a group ride. But, I don't have, it takes enough time to put this crap together as it is. And contrary to popular opinion, I'm not making any money on this. My channel is not monetized. It doesn't qualify for monetization. And even if it did qualify for monetization, it'd be like 25 cents. Anyway, it's not for money. It's just for fun. And the ride's just going out to have fun with your friends, get a workout. And it was nice to have some folks on the ride today that aren't normally in the ride, including teammate Steve Dodge and some others. So we had some good, strong guys. We came either very close. Let's see, I got there's a segment that kind of encompasses the entire ride. I think I got like a 4th place Strava trophy. So this was actually one of the fastest pop rides we've ever done. Probably because we went out fast, we had strong riders, but we also had some wind changes that were favorable, I think. So kind of like tailwind the whole ride kind of thing. Not really, but there was some wind changes, I think, that favored the speed of the ride today. So it was a fun ride. Racing's been kind of a little bit taking a back seat recently because of all the rain and bad weather. So, but that will continue on all throughout the summer. So, anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. That is the Pop A on May 2nd, 2019. Where, I was joking with James. I was like, do you think any of our teammates would come to our funeral? As we both meet our end on Murphy Road. It's good to have some dark humor about this kind of thing. Although we have to pour one out for our fellow cyclists that have not made it, that have died in those circumstances or been injured, and we need to stand up for them. We need to advocate for them. We need to advocate for safety. We need to be safe ourselves. And really, we should get a safe passing law in Texas. It's sitting there in one of these committees, and I don't think it's going to pass. I don't think it's ever going to see a vote this year. I don't think we have a robust way of advocating for ourselves. We're not doing a good job of it. Kudos to the people that are doing it. I'm not sure that it's super effective the way they're doing it, but what can I say? I'm not really involved other than kind of following along and having written to a couple of the representatives that are on some of these committees. But I would like to see a 3-foot safe passing law that's like in many states, but not in Texas. We're running cameras. We have evidence when these things occur. I think it would add to the safety of cycling on roads in Texas. So I hope if you have an opportunity that you'll take a chance to check that out. There's a Facebook page, I think it's called Bike Texas. That's the advocacy group. I don't know if they are the official advocacy group, but they are an advocacy group that's trying to get this safe passing law passed. And you could, as appropriate, contact people and spread the word among cyclists about having laws that protect the safety of ourselves so that we're safe on the roads, or safer, or at least have some measures to have consequences for drivers that are putting people in danger. So I'm going to leave it at that. Hope you're having a good time. Later.
Hey, I'll just stay up there now.
Where's our carrot? Where's our carrot?